Hello, welcome to the fourth class of course Power Electronics. In today's class, let's discuss about the types of power electronic circuits. Normally, with respect to power electronic circuits, or can also called as power electronic controllers, we will be having 5 different groups. The first one is AC to DC, that will be called as an rectifier. And the second one will be the DC to AC, that will be called as an inverter. And the third one will be the DC to DC, that will be called as in choppers. And the fourth one will be the AC to AC, that will be called as in cycloconverters. And the fifth one will be the AC regulators, that will be as similar with respect to the rectifier only. The working will be similar with respect to rectifier. Let's start with the in detail expression of the rectifier. If you consider the rectifier, if you consider a rectifier circuit, I will take a block diagram of this rectifier, where I will be using a rectifier circuit in the middle of the box, where it will be consisting of an AC to DC converter. The input for this will be giving us one phase, that is single phase or 3-phase AC supply, where this single phase or 3-phase AC supply will be converted from that is AC to DC with respect to this circuit, and based on this I will be getting a DC output voltage, where this output voltage is fixed, or it can also be a variable one. So if you consider the waveform of this particular output, I will be taking that is AC source or AC supply as an input, that will be Vs. I will assume this as an AC supply, and I should get the appropriate value with respect to the output, where the output will be an DC value here. So if you consider this case, what happens here, I should have some triggering values here. I will mention this some value, this will be the triggering angle, or it can also be represented as an alpha value, where this will be the time taken for your circuit to turn on. So I will be represent this will be the times required for your circuit to turn on, and after that particular time, whatever the input, that will be retained. When you consider the next half cycle, where in the next half cycle it will be negative value, but due to the DC it will be pulsated, and based on this whatever the value I will be retained with respect to positive value. This negative value will be shifted to positive value with respect to this output voltage for the DC, and again the cycle will be repeated for the n number of cycles. And if you consider the second one is nothing but DC to AC, where the DC to AC will be called as an inverter. So if I am consider an inverter, where I will be having a converter circuit, where it will be converting my DC input to AC output voltage here. So this block will be considered as an DC to AC converter, where the input is an DC supply, where it will be an DC supply voltage, but the output will be an variable AC voltage and also variable frequency, where in this case both the voltage, that is AC voltage, and the frequency will be variable at the output with respect to inverter. And if you consider the waveform, in this case the input is nothing but I will be considering a DC value here. This will be my input supply, where the output will be AC, where I will be getting a value from shifting from positive to negative value, and again from positive to negative value. It will be repeated for n number of cycles. This is with respect to inverter. Third one, if I consider, the first one will be the rectifier, that is AC to DC. The second one will be the inverter, that is DC to AC. The third one will be the, I will consider DC to DC, where the DC to DC will be called as an chopper. So if you consider choppers, I will take input where I will be having a chopper circuit where it will be converting the output as required for the application. The input is nothing but a DC supply. Here the output is also a DC supply, but it will be an variable or a fixed DC supply. Fixed DC voltage in this case. Where for this circuit, I will be using a DC to DC converter circuit. And the waveform, if you consider the waveform, the input is an DC voltage, this will be my origin point, and the output, in this case, the output will be DC, so there will be no, with respect to the input value, I will be considering this as an on time and the remaining will be considered as an off time. So these cycles will be repeated for n number of cycles. This will be the one total time period, and this time period will be repeated into n number of cycles based on the input given here. And the fourth one will be the AC to AC, where AC to AC will be called as an cycloconverter. So if you consider cycloconverter, where the input voltage will be an AC and the output voltage will also be an AC, but for this particular operation, I will be using a AC to AC circuit here, where the input is an AC, that is AC voltage with a fixed frequency. The input should not be varied. When you consider any of the circuit for the as a cycloconverter application, the frequency should not be varied with respect to input value here. Based on this, I will be getting a AC voltage where it is an variable and a fixed one, or a fixed one in this case. And for this particular AC, I will be giving a AC input voltage, that is AC signal, that is a sinusoidal signal. Based on this, I will be getting a output, that is an AC voltage, that is a variable or a fixed one, where the output will be in a form of this. This will be the AC to AC converters. And the fifth one is, if you consider the fifth one, I will call it as an AC regulators. AC regulators, where for this I will be using a similar diagram. When you consider the AC to DC, that is an single phase AC voltage as an input, but the output voltage will be an fixed or an variable AC voltage here. So for this I will be using a AC regulator as an circuit. So if you consider this circuit, I will be getting a output based on the input, that is the input voltage is sinusoidal. For this input voltage, I will consider the sinusoidal wave, where it will be having a frequency of lower frequencies. When I consider the output voltage, I will be getting a AC output voltage only, but in this case it will take some triggering angle. Based on this triggering angle, your circuit will be retained. But if you consider the rectifier, whatever the values within the input value, that will be pulsated to positive value, because it will be converting from AC to DC. But in the AC regulator, the positive will be retained at the positive and the negative will be retained at the negative value, and the cycle will be repeated. This is with respect to the types of power electronic circuits or types of power electronic converters. And the last one is, if I am consider the peripheral effects. Peripheral effects. This is the last topic with the first module of the chapter 1. So if you consider peripheral effects, I will take any one of this example. Let's take the example of a rectifier. If you consider the rectifier, what is my intention? I will be having a input voltage of single phase or a 3-phase AC supply. I should get a desired output. So if I am using a rectifier, my desired output is to get a DC voltage. That DC voltage can be an variable or a fixed one. So to achieving this particular thing, I will be using converter, where in this converter, to convert from AC to DC, I will be using power devices. That power devices will be act like a switches here to conversion from one form to another form, and also controlling the voltages here. So when you are converting from one form to another form, if you consider this, I will be converting from one form to another form. See what happens here. I will be converting, it will be having a AC here, in this case positive, where the negative will be has to shift to positive. For this I will be using AC to DC. So my AC voltage should changes to DC voltage based on the power device, that is power components, and based on this I should get the output voltage based on the input condition here. So if you consider this, the output voltage will be gathering, the desired output voltage will be gathering from the input voltage with the help of this converter here. And if you consider this, when we are gathering a desired output, will be occurring some distortion. That distortion can be with respect to of any form, and also the spike of noise will be occurred, and harmonics can also be occurred. To overcome all this, we are using some filters that will be called as an peripheral effect. This harmonics and noise and spikes at the peak value of your circuit and whatever the distortion, that all will be called as in peripheral effects. So to avoid this, I will be using filters at the circuit here. To avoid this particular distortion, I should use a filter at both the input and as well as the output. So when I am using two filters, that is one at the input and another at the output, I will get the most desired output as required for the application. So that will be called as an peripheral effects. This completes the chapter 1 in the module 2 here. So chapter 2 of module 1 is power transistors. So if you consider power transistors, you will be having 4 different types of power transistor. The first one will be the BJT, that will be called as an bipolar junction transistors, and the second one will be the MOSFET. The MOSFET will be called as a metal oxide semiconductor field effective transistors, and the third one will be the IGBT, insulated gate bipolar transistors, and the fourth one is SIT, that is static induction transistor. These are all the 4 different types of transistor we are going to study with this chapter 2 here. Let's start with the power transistor, that is BJT. The first one will be the BJT, that is bipolar junction transistor. If you consider the bipolar junction transistors, it will be consist of 3 terminals. The 3 terminals are called as that is collector, emitter and a base here. And this BJT can be written in a symbol like this, where the base will be a input terminal here and the current flowing will be considered as a collector to emitter. So here the input will be given for the base drive. The current can flow from collector to emitter, and it can also flow from emitter to collector. Based on this current flow, I can say that is whether it's an NPN or a PNP. Based on this, we can classify BJT into 2 types. The first one will be the current flowing from collector to emitter will be called as an NPN transistors, and the second one, it will also having a 3 terminals, that is base, collector and emitter, where the current is flowing from emitter to collector, where this will be called as an PNP transistors, where the input drive will be given across the VBE, that is voltage will be applied across the base to emitter junction in the both, that is PNP and NPN transistors, where the voltage will be measured across the collector to emitter for both NPN and PNP transistors. If you consider the structure of, I will take one of the transistor out of PNP and NPN. Let's take the NPN transistor. The structure of NPN transistors, the name only specifying, it will be having a 3 layers, that is N layer, P layer and N layer here. So if you consider this case, In this case, if you consider NPN transistors here, the base will be connected to the input terminal. I will collect this terminal as a base, where this base will be considered as an P. Here this will be the middle term N, P and N. So I will consider this as an P plus layer, where the topmost, the collector will be connected across N, that will be an N plus layer. I will call it as an collector terminal. Here the collector terminal is connected to N plus region and the base terminal will be connected to P plus region, and the last one will be the N plus layer will be connected to emitter region. This will be the emitter region. So if you consider this case, I will be having a N plus, P plus and N plus, where this N layer, that is the last layer which are connected to emitter layer, will be split into two parts. The one part will be the N plus layer and another will be the N minus layer. Why this will split into two parts means to maintain the breakdown region, and also it will helpful for the flow of electrons from one region to another region. If you consider this case, that is N plus will be connected to the collector region where it is highly doped at 10 to the power of 19 per centimeter cube, and the P plus region is moderately doped, that is 10 to the power of 16 per centimeter cube. And this N minus layer, that is called as an collector drift region. It can also be called as an collector drift region, where it will be lightly doped of 10 to the power of 14 per centimeter cube, and N plus layer will be highly doped, that is 10 to the power of 19 per centimeter cube here. So if you consider this case, the thickness will be varying from one layer to another layer. If you consider the first layer which is connected across this particular layer, I will be called as an 5 to 10 micrometer thickness, and the P plus layer is varying from 20 to 50 micrometer, and this N minus layer is varying from 100 to 200 micrometer, and the last layer is varying from 250 micrometer. So based on the selection of the thickness of the N minus layer, that is collector to drift region, you can select appropriate thickness. Based on that, the breakdown can be decided of your NPN transistors here. And let's come to the VI characteristics. The VI characteristics is already studied in the previous classes. That is, in a one part, that is in a two-dimensional, we are considering the current and a voltage here, and based on the variation of the current and a voltage, we are specifying the voltage level, that is varying the voltage level, where your transistors will be operating in a three operating region. The first region will be called as an cutoff region, and the second will be called as an active region, and the third will be called as an saturation region, where the saturation is again subdivided into two groups. The first one will be the hard saturation and the second one will be the quasi saturation. If you consider the operation of your transistor of a BJT, your operation of your transistor of BJT will work only with the two operating region. The first one will be the cutoff region and the second one will be the saturation region, where your transistors will never work in a active region. Why your transistor will never work in active region means your transistors will act like a amplifier in the active region here. And next one, let's start with the mathematical analysis. Mathematical analysis for your BJT transistors. So when I am considering the mathematical analysis, I will consider the model of NPN transistors. Let's take the model of NPN transistor. If I am considering the model of NPN transistors, I will be having a three terminal, that is collector, base and a emitter here. I will be consider this as a collector terminal, where your current, that is whatever the current across the collector terminal, I will be considered as a collector current, and it has to be connected to base of your terminal, where this region will be called as an base current, where the output will be considered across the lower terminal will be considered as an emitter terminal in this case, and I will be having a two current flowing across the collector and a base current terminal. I will be considering it as an beta into IB value, and this will be the collector current, that is CEO of the collector, that is collector emitter current of the region here. And I will be having another current flowing across this condition. I will be considering as an emitter current here. So if you consider, this will be the model of NPN transistors, where the first thing I need to find out the whatever the current will be flowing across the beta value. If you consider the current flowing across the beta value, that is beta value will be considered as in H of Fe. So this will be the beta value. If you consider this, I should gather the value of a collector current and a base current. So based on this, the beta value will be IC, that is collector current divided by base current. This will be considered as an equation 1. And when you want to find out the total current will be gathered at the emitter current. This will be the total current, that is IE. So if you want to gather the emitter current, you should calculate the values of a whatever the current available in the above flow of circuit. So whatever the different types of current will be flowing across this maze, the first one will be the base current and the another one will be the collector current, that is IC plus IB. So the total current will be considered as an emitter current will be equal to collector current plus base current. This will be considered as an equation 2 here. And in the next case, see here, the current across CEO will be considered, where this will be a negligible. When you consider this as a negligible, I can write the total current as IE is equal to IC plus IB value. So I will consider ICO will be negligibly equal, that will be considered as an 0. Based on this, I can write, that is when ICO will be equal to 0, I can write the values, that is IE will be equal to beta into IB in this case when considering this value. So I will consider this as an equation 3. So based on the equation 3, I can write, that is base current. Here the base current will be equal to current. I can write these values as IC divided by beta value, and also IE will be equal to, that is emitter current will be equal to here condition, that is beta 1 plus divided by beta into times of collector current. I will consider this as an equation 4. In a similar fashion, when you consider the collector current will be equal to alpha times of IE. When considering equation 4 and equation 5, I can say that is alpha value. By considering this equation 4 and 5, I can say that is alpha value will be equal to beta plus 1 divided by beta value. This can be proved with respect to mathematical analysis of your NPN transistor. The next topic is operation of a transistor as a switch here. I will consider one transistor circuit here to operate it as a switch. So let's take one NPN transistors here. I will take one NPN transistors. This will be the base and this will be the collector terminal and this will be the emitter terminal. To operate this, I need to apply a input supply, that is supply voltage. I will be considered as an base voltage, and I should apply some resistance value, that is load value. I will be called as an RB. And across the collector, I am supposed to use some resistance value. I will be called as an RC value. Across this, I will be measuring the output voltage. I will be considered as an VCC. In this case, I will be applying input voltage across the base. That voltage will be considered as an VBE. The input voltage will be applied across the base to emitter voltages, and the output voltage will be measured across the collector to emitter voltage here. This will be the flow of current, and the voltage will be measured across the collector to emitter here. If you consider this circuit, based on this circuit, I can write one equation, that is in the first equation, that is VCB. If you consider the VCB here, it will be equal to VCE minus VBE. In the first condition, VCB will be equal to VBE. it will be considered as an equation 1. So when it starts conducting, that is voltage will be increasing gradually, and your current, that is transistors, will be in a operating region. The first stage it will be in a cutoff region, again it will move to the active region, and again finally it will reach the saturation region. In this stage what happens, the VCE should be equal to VBE. When the collector emitter voltage will be equal to base emitter voltage, automatically what happens here, your transistors will start conducting. So I should make, that is, this should be happen in your transistor to make it a conductivity condition. The first condition, active region, when it crosses this value, before this value, that will be a cutoff region. When it crosses the VCE will be equal to VBE, the voltage will be in a positive mode, that will be called as an active region. Remember one thing, your transistors will never operate in the active region, where it will be work as an amplifier. When you consider the active region, that is IC active will be equal to VCC minus VCE divided by whatever the resistance will be gathering. In this case, if you consider the IC, the resistance will be considered as an RC. This will be the equation. I will consider as an equation 2, where this equation can also be written as VCC minus VCE will be equal to VBE. So based on that I can write VBE divided by RC. This will be considered as an equation 3 here. Similarly, the base current of the active region can also be written here. That will be equal to IC active divided by beta value. This will be considered as an equation 4 here. And after this particular active region, the sufficient voltage will be gathered from the transistor. That is, when it crosses the threshold of 0.3 volt to 0.4 volt, it starts conducting. That will be considered as an saturation region here. So if you consider the saturation region, IC saturation will be equal to, in this case, IC saturation will be equal to VCC minus VB divided by RB. This will be the IC saturation. Similarly, IB saturation can be written as IC saturation divided by beta value. This will be the equation for the saturation region, active region of your transistor working as a switch. Similarly, if you consider the overdrive factor, that will be called as an ODF. If you want to find out this value, you need to divide the IC saturation, that is IC saturation divided by beta, that will be considered as an IB saturation value divided by the IB value. And if you want to find out the beta forced value, the beta forced value can be calculated as IC saturation divided by the IB. Let's solve one problem based on the power transistor. I will take one circuit of a power transistor, where for the power transistor shown in figure, this is the figure. First one, I should calculate the forced beta value. The second one will be, I should find out the value of a overdrive factor. For this overdrive factor, I will be having a beta range from 8 to 40. That is, minimum value of beta range will be the 8 and the maximum value will be the 40 here. And finally, I should find out the power loss here. So what are the given values here? If you consider, this will be the VB, that is base voltage. I will consider base voltage as 10 volt, and I will be having a RB. RB will be considered as an 0.75 ohm, and this will be the 1.5 volt. 1.5 volt will be the voltage across the base to emitter junction here. That will be the 1.5 volt, and this will be called as an voltage across the collector to emitter. That is, voltage to collector to emitter will be 1 volt, and I will be having a resistance value across the collector region. That will be the RC will be equal to 11 ohm, and this will be the VCC. VCC will be considered as an 200 volt here. These are all the given in the circuit. The first thing I need to find out the forced beta value, where when I want to find out the forced beta value, the forced beta value will be given as IC saturation divided by beta. Here I will be having a beta value, but I need to find out the IC saturation value. Here they have not given the IC saturation value, but I have a equation to find out the IC saturation value. IC saturation will be equal to, if I am consider the IC saturation equation, that is VCC minus VC saturation divided by this RC value. So in this case VCC will be taken as 200 volt, this will be the 200 volt minus VCE saturation. VCE saturation is nothing but 1 volt, this will be the 1 volt divided by RC. RC will be calculated as 11 ohm. In this case 200 minus 1, that will be equal to 199 divided by 11. If you calculate this value, I will be getting IC saturation of 18.09 ampere. This will be the IC saturation. And again I should apply the KVL to the emitter, that is base emitter loop, applying the KVL to base emitter loop here. So if you consider the KVL to base emitter loop, I will be having a VB will be equal to, I will be considering this as an VB, this will be equal to IB into RB, IB into RB in your case, plus I will be applying for only this condition, this IB into RB plus VBE. So if you consider IB, if I am consider IB here means I will be having a VB minus VBE divided by RB. So again substituting the values, IB will be equal to, VB is nothing but, in this case VB is nothing but 10 minus VBE, VB is nothing but 1.5 volt divided by RB, RB is nothing but here 0.75. So based on this, the IB will be equal to 11.33 ampere. So I can find out the forced beta value will be equal to IC saturation divided by IB. So here IC saturation is nothing but 18.09 divided by B, that is base current will be equal to 11.33. So the forced beta value will be equal to 1.596. The forced beta should not have any unit here. And the second one will be the find out the ODF, that is overdrive factor. I need to find out the ODF, that is overdrive factor will be equal to IB divided by IB saturation. See, you are already calculated the base current here. I need to find out the saturation base current here. If you consider the saturation base current, I will be having an equation, that is IC saturation divided by beta. I should calculate the minimum beta value here. I should take the minimum beta value, where the IC saturation is nothing but 18.09 ampere and the beta minimum value is 8 to 40. So I will consider the minimum value, that will be 8. Based on this, I will be getting a IB saturation will be equal to 2.26 value here. So again substituting the IB as 11.33 ampere and IB saturation of 2.26, I will get the overdrive factor as 5. This will be the overdrive factor. Finally, I should find the power loss. If you consider the power loss, that is PT will be equal to, I need to apply a KVL here, that will be considered as an VBE into IB for this section. Again, I should consider the VCE into IC plus VCE into IC. So VB is nothing but, here I got 1.5 into base current is nothing but 11.33. This will be the one term. Again VCE is nothing but 1 volt into IC. IC is nothing but I should consider IC saturation values only. Where is the IC saturation value? Here 18.09. So after solving this, I will get the total power loss as 35 watt year.